Sorry, I got some food. This water is cold.
Nah, I need my food.
When you ready?
Yeah, nah, I need
Yeah, it's a lot of good trainers, but I went with the best trainer that fits me.
The Houston admitted is different from Dallas, right?
Yeah, it's a big difference. That's the main thing.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah, man. It's a big difference.
3 years. The last time everybody seen you in the ring, you know, there's, I guess, you even said yourself, like, you didn't have to come back to boxing, but it's just something that you wanted to do. How have you prepared yourself mentally, you know, for this fight versus Tszyu?
Me just training to my best abilities, training hard, focusing, listening to my coach, and just getting back down to the basics and what got me here.
Now this is where the story takes an exciting turn because talk has been spreading across Australia that Gervonta Davis might unexpectedly show up at Errol Spence training camp before fight night. Nothing has been confirmed yet, but just picture the response if Tank suddenly stepped inside the gym and everyone saw him standing there.
Both superstars in the fine-tuning stage, secrecy is crucial. That's why Davis made sparring the most important element of any camp, off limits to cameras. But his team's visible confidence hints at his readiness.
Hey, you having fun, ain't you?
Knowing what I can do and knowing that what I want to do, I don't see him coming back anytime soon or ever. Outside the ring is nothing but respect. I respect his legacy. I respect him as a person. I respect his humility and things like that. But once that bell rings, once you get in the ring, all the respect goes out the window. And, you know, it's a young line on the old line, and I'm finna take his kingdom.
And when you have a chance to make it out, it gives you that different look on life. It make you dream bigger than just your small town or your hard times that you've been through. It's crazy to me that who would know I would be that guy. I knew I'd be big, but I never knew that I would be like the guy that actually like break them doors.
Everyone knows social media would explode almost instantly, and from a motivation point of view, it would be easy to understand. Tank and Spence have always respected each other, and having one of the biggest names in boxing at the training camp could give Spence even more belief and raise the energy during the final days before the fight. Just imagine that moment for yourself.
I ain't tired of that. You can holler back. I got a crack. Calvin believed in me. Calvin believed in me no matter what. That's what was the important piece of me staying focused and I know I have somebody that's counting on me. Calvin was making sure that I was on the right track. And whoever go against me, Calvin was standing beside me. You know what I mean? Calvin was that guy that had my back for sure.
That's what we do. Get ready for this.
Spence is putting in the final hard rounds of training, while Ronnie Shields keeps giving instructions from the corner. Then imagine Gervonta Davis standing at ringside watching every move, sharing advice, making everyone laugh, and showing the mindset of a true champion. Even without stepping into the ring, his presence would quickly become one of the biggest stories of Fight Week. Right now, though, this is only speculation because neither camp has officially confirmed anything. But boxing fans know how these situations often unfold. Sometimes one photo, one short video, or even a single airport sighting is enough to send the internet into a frenzy, and that is exactly why so many people are talking about it now.
What's training look like for camp to tail it off and get it ready in Australia? Do you have a gym here already organised and everything rolling?
Well, actually, we have a few people been contacting us about it, so we'll sit down tonight and figure out what's best for us.
What do you want to see from Errol in this fight? Like, obviously the W is most important, but like, what sort of performance?
Oh, I mean, I just want Errol to be Errol. Just want him to be himself, not pushing him to be anything other than who he is. And, he's going to do what he know how to do. So, we feel confident that that's going to be enough to win.
Can he knock Tim Tszyu out?
Well, I've never trained a guy to go into a fight thinking he's going to knock somebody out. That would be that would be against my training will to do that. This fight is scheduled for 12 rounds. That's what we train for.
Spence is getting ready for the most important comeback fight of his career, while Tank has always backed fighters he truly respects. If these rumors end up being true, then expect cameras to capture every moment of the visit, because it would show that Team Spence is bringing as much championship knowledge and experience as possible into this training camp. Whether it happens or not, the idea alone has already made this event even more exciting, and the buzz keeps growing with each passing day. One thing is clear: as fight night gets closer, boxing continues to deliver more unexpected surprises.
And obviously the experience to be in Australia and fight overseas, you've done that in the UK with Kell Brook, and how do you think this experience will be?
Oh, the experience will be dope. I'm going to enjoy it a lot. It's going to be a dope event, and I've been used to. Even when I was in the amateurs, I fought overseas a lot, so it's not something that I'm unfamiliar with at all. So I'm going to take it all in, enjoy the whole process, and when I come out, hopefully everybody won't boo me, and put on a great.
The rumors about Gervonta Davis possibly visiting the training camp had already created plenty of excitement, but Shakur Stevenson added even more attention by making his position completely clear. He did not avoid the question or give a safe prediction to satisfy everyone. Shakur openly picked Errol Spence, and that carries real meaning because fighters often notice things that most people never see. He praised Spence for his strong mindset and described him as a true fighter who never backs down. That fighting spirit has always been one of Errol's biggest strengths.
Errol Spence. Errol Spence is back. Yeah. Fighting Tim Tszyu. Been on first fight since fight with 2023 with Bud. How you feeling about that?
I think he's gonna do good. I wish Errol the best. I hope Errol go in there and beat Tim Tszyu up. I'm a Errol Spence fan. I was cool with Errol Spence, especially before that Bud fight a long time ago. He was a cool dude, so I'm with Errol Spence. I want Errol Spence to.
Skills can fade and timing can be off on any given night, but the determination to never give up has helped Spence overcome some of the toughest moments of his career. At the same time, it would be a mistake to count Tim Tszyu out, just because another champion chose Spence to win. In fact, Tszyu probably welcomes that kind of doubt, because the more respected fighters support Spence, the bigger the chance for him to shock everyone and change the whole conversation. That is what makes this fight so exciting. It is not about one unbeatable boxer facing an underdog. It is about two fighters who both have something to prove, while the boxing world remains divided over who will come out on top.
In Australia too.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I think I don't think Tim Tszyu could beat Errol. Yeah. Like I know Errol is mentally tough. Errol is a dog when it comes to fighting. So I don't think Tim Tszyu could beat him.
One group believes Spence's experience, toughness, and championship background will make the difference. The other side feels Tim Tszyu recent activity, strong momentum, and home advantage will be too much for anyone to overcome. I also liked that Shakur based his opinion on mindset instead of making bold predictions just to grab attention.
It goes to show that sometimes it doesn't matter if you win or lose, it's how you lose that makes the difference, right? And sometimes how you win that keeps you off of fights. But, I think this, and Errol Spence, who was highly regarded going into the Keith Thurman, into the Crawford fight. And now you see what Crawford did, you realize, wow, Crawford's really that good. He's that. Maybe we underestimated him because he's really that good. So what he did to Spence might not appear as such.
Shakur was not predicting a dramatic knockout or trying to create attention with bold headlines. He simply believes Spence performs at his best when the pressure is at its highest. That opinion carries weight because it comes from a fighter who understands what it takes to compete at the highest level. But this is the part that matters most. Anyone can make predictions, but the fight itself is a different story. Once the opening bell rings, no one gets an advantage because another world champion picked them to win. Spence still has to show that the long break has not affected him, and Tim Tszyu still has to prove this division truly belongs to him. That is exactly why everyone is so excited about this fight.
Tim's had a lot of pressure on him, you know, from the very beginning, obviously carrying the Tszyu name. And, you know, he had that bloody war with Sebastian Fundora, you know, which endeared him to a ton of people because, you know, obviously the cut and the blood made it look terrible, you know, it was awful. I don't know if it was, you know, whether it was physically dangerous, but it was ugly as hell, you know, it was bad that it happened. And, you know, but a lot of people got the attack.
After hearing so many fighters choose a side, it was refreshing to hear Russ Anber bring the focus back to what truly makes this fight so interesting. He was not eager to make simple predictions because, as Russ explained, the unanswered questions are what make this matchup exciting. I completely agree with that view. If everyone already knew the winner, there would be no reason to count down to fight night. Russ also made a strong point about Errol Spence that many people forget. The more Terence Crawford proves he is on a different level, the more understandable that defeat becomes. Sometimes time changes the way people look at a result without anyone realizing it. Then Russ shifted the attention to Tim Tszyu and reminded everyone that a loss does not always tell the full story. He mentioned the Fundora fight and the Bakram fight and explained how those experiences helped shape Tszyu instead of defining his career. That is what boxing is all about. A fighter can lose on the record, but still earn something even more valuable, which is respect. I also appreciated that Russ never tried to exaggerate things he could not be certain about.
And then now he's putting himself almost in a very precarious situation of he has to live up to being Jeff Fenech, the trainer, and has to perform. And Tszyu has got to win, you know, to keep Jeff's legacy going. To say, yeah, I can do this, and he's taken a big task on his shoulders, I would think. As a trainer in working with Tim Tszyu. And Ronnie, well, I could talk now on the contrary for Ronnie, I could talk, you know, I wax poetic on him. You know, he's proven, I know Ronnie very well, we're good friends, and, you know, he's proven himself to be
Instead of acting like he knew everything about Jeff Fenech coaching abilities, Russ admitted there are still things we do not know while making it clear that Fenech's reputation as a fighter is unquestionable. That kind of honesty is uncommon in boxing discussions where many people suddenly act like experts overnight. At the same time, Russ gave huge respect to Ronnie Shields and described him as one of the few great fighters who also became a great trainer. That is important because trainers in championship fights are often judged only after the final bell. But the biggest thing that stood out was how Russ kept returning to the topic of pressure. Pressure on Spence to prove he still belongs at the top. Pressure on Tszyu to show he can recover and return stronger. Pressure on Fenech to prove the trust placed in him was the right choice. It feels like everyone connected to this fight is carrying something to prove, not just the two fighters inside the ring. And maybe that is exactly why this matchup continues to capture attention, because one fighter will finally answer the biggest questions while the other may leave with even more to prove.
They got worries, man. And the worries are the following, bro. Errol looks too calm. He looks too calm. He looks too happy. He looks too at peace. He looks like he's still out there on that island, man. He looks like he's still out there in Jamaica with his pops on that farm that land that they built, man. He just looks like his eyes are just far off into the future. I just do not get a sense that, you know, he's coming in there, that he doesn't give the vibe of just animal.
And those unanswered questions Russ Anber kept mentioning are exactly why people have so many different opinions about this fight. Even Errol Spence's body language has become a major topic of discussion. Fenan Boxing watched Spence's arrival and admitted he felt a little nervous. Not because Spence looked weak, but because he appeared almost too relaxed. I actually found it interesting when he said Spence looked happier than someone preparing for one of the toughest fights of his career. That is the unique thing about elite athletes. Some fans expect fighters to look intense and restless every moment, while others believe the most dangerous version is the one who stays calm and completely in control. Fans are wondering if Spence can switch from enjoying peace and family time back into full competition mode after such a long break. And honestly, that is a fair question. But at the same time, Ronnie Shields has shared a very different view of what has been happening inside the training camp.
Errol is getting big money for this fight. Tim Tszyu is trying to get a signature win in his career. He's fighting in his own city. He's fighting in his hometown, and he's a very good fighter. He's a dangerous fighter. And the biggest issue with physical issue with Errol versus Tim Tszyu is going to be punch resistance, and how well Errol can take the shots of Tim Tszyu. And if Errol is not 100% focused, 100% locked in, those shots are going to land. Some of those shots are going to land. And you saw, like, when he fought Terrence Crawford, he got knocked down by a jab.
Ronnie Shields has said that Spence never stopped putting in the work and remained focused throughout the long break. Both things can be true at the same time, and that is what makes this situation so interesting. Then the discussion moved toward Tim Tszyu and the reminder that he is not entering this fight just for money. He is chasing the biggest achievement of his career and doing it in front of his own fans. That is where the real drama comes from. Some people see Spence's calm attitude as confidence, while others wonder if he has become too comfortable. Personally, I have learned not to judge a fighter based on airport videos or short interviews. Cameras capture smiles, but they do not show the hard training sessions happening away from the public eye. They show a relaxed expression, but not the work being done behind closed doors. This is exactly the type of mental battle that makes boxing so exciting, because fans can watch the same footage and come away with completely different opinions. The only thing that truly matters is the camera inside the ring when the opening bell rings, because that is where every prediction gets tested and every rumor is forgotten.